try to can y'all hear me in the chat? And let's check on Odyssey and streaming on multiple thingies. And then yeah, it's gonna be another emergency stream, Wednesday stream. Let's power this one through. This is working. All right, it is working. Pop out chat. Audio's good. Okay, let's go. Right, we are live. Okay, yeah. So the ones on like BitChute and Odyssey, they go live right when I open my start the live thingy on my software. Okay, rotary motion. Let's go. Gonna pop out this chat. Internet is not pop out. I don't know what's going on here. Anyways, so we're on BitChute as well. You're audible. Let's go. All right, guys, we're doing some Van Allen belts, and also I'll go over some math. Whoever has got questions. And again, emergency live stream Wednesdays, more technical stuff. So if you want science related stuff, it also forces me to deal with this stuff, because eventually it's the name of the game. Science is the name of the game, and technology is the name of the okay. Oh, 29,000 tons of thermite is in the house, guys. And that's another thing. I think we should do a stream on what is thermite. That'd be pretty good. Yeah, like it's like the people that push thermite for 9/11 is just an absolute, like, I could not believe. It's like I'm like, how? It's like, well, where are we? Like, does anyone know anything related to science? Okay, and also on there's a Threadcast. All right, guys, Threadcast. If you guys get on the in Leo on the Hive blockchain, and what's cool is that they got the AI agent now. It's just pretty cool. You can actually ask it stuff. So for example, instead of just using Grok and feeding it that. Okay, Tammy's in the house. Let's go. Hola. We have 8 people, guys. We have a lot of people in the show. Okay, you know, this scrolls all the way up. Okay, I'm gonna go this down. I hear thermite on pods. I'm gone. All right. Yeah, I might do a thermite. What is thermite? And it's like, I cannot believe people actually fall for the thermite nonsense for 9/11. All right, guys, there's a Threadcast. See, yeah, and in Leo you can actually do right here. So I'm gonna go and show you. So I'll do it all in a Threadcast here. So you can go hashtag #AskLeo. What are the Van Allen radiation belts? And let's just see. And then it has the AI bot. It's not live like X. Like, it doesn't do the like current data. It's a few years back, but eventually it will take over the game. Okay, and just because again, this is all on the blockchain. All the data is just public. It's gonna go load up soon. It's live update soon. Let's go see how long it's like, because block on Hive it's 3-second block times, and let's just see how long it takes there. Anyways, it should take a few seconds, not that long. Okay, I'll just wait, okay, until it comes up on there. But anyways, so we have everything's running smoothly, and also have the vacuum chamber on the back there in case we want to do some experiments. But also want to quickly set up using my phone to connect. I'm gonna see if I could pop up the phone plus a source, like connect my phone to the stream so that you could see the phone, and then I can go show you the vacuum chamber. I'm gonna do this live. Yeah, I should have done this earlier. Just again, I don't have too much time. These are these Wednesday emergency streams. Again, guys, if you have questions, put in the chat, and so on. I'll anything math, science related, and we'll go over them. And I just want to quickly click on this button, so I'll show you what I'm doing. So this is the streaming software. I'm using Prism Live Studio. I'm gonna go plus Prism Lens. I think that's what it's called. No, and add the Prism Lens. No, Prism Mobile app camera to use it as your webcam. Okay, that's cool. Okay, I think that's the one. I'm gonna go Prism Mobile. Okay. Integrate. Install. Need to install the Prism app screen. Install the Prism Lens app. What in the world's going on here? Okay, install now. Okay, I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, so download. Oh, so yeah, I do need to download a separate one. Okay, downloads. Prism. Where is Prism Live Studio? Okay, so it's Prism Lens. And then, so then I can go and move my phone around. And also this, Yeah, test the coil inside the vacuum chamber. Let's do something with it. Well, others have done it also. I'm still scared of test the coil. I need to figure out Faraday cage, which I'll get onto it. Again, it's tax season right now, and it's absolutely brutal. It's just so annoying, especially because I was audited. So, so I've been busy with that nonsense. Okay, I'm gonna see if it run. Did it do something now? Just run it. Like, what's going on? Hopefully, I don't need to close this. Okay, I'm gonna move this over. Discard. Okay, so it's prism lens. Yes. All right, guys, we are. Okay, good. We have I'll put the 2-hour mark. So we have 2 hours to try to get something productive done in this streaming. Okay, install prism lens. And again, it also helps you to see the behind the scenes of like streaming, like what in the world's all this stuff. Okay, use it as a virtual camera. Okay, start. Let's just use something. My goodness, I just want to connect this to that. Like, how hard is it? Okay, and let's see. Is it connected now? Okay, so it pops up here. Prism lens. Okay, so now no device selected. I'll use my old. I have my old phone. Okay, I'll use my old phone actually. Prism, this one. Okay, and then how do I connect to it? This is this thingy. Prism. Okay. And this Saturday stream is gonna be it's gonna be at a freedom rally. So I'll be interviewing random people on the street. So that's gonna be quite epic. Alright guys, St. Davis is in the chat on Rumble. Bless up, man, in chat. Let's go. Alright guys, okay, let's go to later, a bit later. Okay, so see if I can connect to this. This one, I gotta go screenshot? No, not screenshot. How do I connect it? Okay. Scan the QR code. Where's the QR code? Prism lens. No device selected. Okay, this one here. Connect both. Okay, so I'm trying to go live. No. Connect. Camera device properties. Like, what am I doing? I have there's no option to. Okay, plus amount of chat. Let's go. I just want to see what in the world's happening. I just want to do this quickly. Virtual background. No, I just want to connect. Advanced color correction. Prism mobile connection. Okay, integrated. Oh, Prism mobile. That's what it was. Okay. Like. Okay, and camera. Connect. Alright, and then how to go sideways. Okay, there it is. We are in the... We got the camera set up, and I'll reverse it. Okay, so now we're recording this one. So what I can do... Okay, so we have this. I'll show you the vacuum chamber here. Alright. So here's the vacuum chamber. Okay. I'll just close this. Actually, it doesn't close. Okay, yeah, it's frozen. Okay, that's good. Alright, we are good. 1 second. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna open this up and say disconnect. Okay, guys. Yeah, so it works epic. Okay, so disconnected. Yeah, so now we know how to connect it. So when we do a vacuum chamber test, I'll go and pull up the phone and go straight to it. And also have a tripod I can also set up too. I'll do the tripod later, but I think we'll just do it manually. So anyways, if that comes to it, we'll do it. And so on. Okay, let's see if this pops up. What are the Van Allen radiation belts? Okay, there it is. Van Allen radiation belts are two donut-shaped regions around the Earth filled with high-energy electrons and protons trapped by the Earth's magnetic field. They were discovered in 1958 by James Van Allen and are a crucial aspect of space exploration, as they pose a radiation hazard to both humans and electronic systems in space. We'd like to know about their discovery, how they affected. Yes. How did the Apollo moon landing or moon missions account for the belts? Okay. Again, put everything on the AI on in Leo on Hive blockchain, guys. This is feeding this, and this will be on the blockchain forever. And you can see if it's tampered or anything, if the data is tampered and so on. All right. What Grok says? Yeah, Grok says we'll probably say the same thing, but I'll get over on Grok soon. So now I'm gonna go over some people were asking me math science related questions. So I'm gonna go over to this one here. This person asked me on here, calculus book guy or girl. I'm not sure if it's I think it's a girl. I'll change this name. Okay, anyways, view profile. How do I change that? My goodness, edit. Person. Okay, and this person was asking me, do you have an answer for this one? Okay, this is a complex propagation concept. Again, this is some advanced electromagnetism, which I have not done. And this is just a small part. Okay, this was, she asked me what I know about Libya, and I said all I know about Libya is that USA took out Gaddafi. Says this is just a small... this is just a small part of Libya. Has a deep history, rich culture, and the Brazilian people. You deserve to know more about them. There's a side of Libya that people don't know, not just politics and news. All right. Complex propagation. Do we have an answer for this one? Prove this right here. So again, it's like, just ask Grok. Is it okay if I send you PDF to see if the lessons are explained in your channel or not? Okay, I've not done these. I'll just say, I have not done these before, but have you asked Grok AI? Just an easy one. Just ask Grok. You can upload images too. Okay, let's check how Grok answers this one. I'm not sure if the other one. I'm gonna check if this has Grok on it as well. Okay, I had a big discussion with Grok on Jumpers 911. What floors, etc. Mainly top 10 floors. Heat from explosion or microwaves. It went deep. Wow, nice. Yeah, so that's the thing with AI. You could make it say whatever, but that's why you need to have some sort of mechanism to ensure that you have a grasp of reality. I'm going to ask this right here. Okay, let's see if I'm just check if in Leo the Ask Leo does it, and then we'll do the Grok AI. Prove the circled assignment 1 question. Okay. I'm gonna quickly go there. Okay, now we'll go back to Grok, see what Grok does here. Also, this person has a good question here. It says, "What is this? Would you suggest a hole in this? What would you suggest a hole in this pick is?" There's a hole in the WTC there. It's probably yeah, I'm not sure what it is. Let's see what this is. Solve the question that is circled. Okay, let's see if Grok is just like, it's like kind of supercomputer taking over the game. Okay, circle question asked to prove this right here. E to the, is that E to, no, that's E, that's second derivative. It's not E to the whatever. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, this one. I'll send this right here. Okay, because I've not done this before, but again, it's like when people ask me things that if you first ask Grok, if Grok does not give you a satisfactory answer, then you can ask MES. Okay, I'll see this one here. Okay, so that's Grok. Okay, and then I just want to quickly go over. Okay, what Grok says. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to. We'll ask Grok now about the Van Allen. Actually, I'll keep it all in this thingy here. So what is, actually no, let's give it a new one. What are the Van Allen belts and how did the moon, the Apollo account for them? This is another thing. A lot of people keep saying about Van Allen belts and so on. I'm like, I literally don't see how anyone could be so super like pro. They're impossible to get around. Spacecraft shielding, timing and monitoring, launched to avoid periods of high solar activity, dosimetry, radiation, trajectory optimization, follow a trajectory to minimize time in the belts. They would pass through the thinner, less intense outer edges of the belts, typically 1 to 2 hours, reducing radiation exposure. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I had a chat in my Telegram. So I'm gonna go over here. So what did Grok do? I mean, in Leo. In Leo uses some different models to carefully plan their trajectories to minimize exposure. They use a technique called lunar transfer orbit to quickly pass through the belts, reducing the time in the high radiation areas. The spacecraft also had shielding. The Apollo missions were timed to occur when radiation belts were, yeah, so pretty much the same thing. And so on. But this gets all put on the Hive blockchain. I don't know how to stress this enough. So like this data, this response gets fed back into this Hive as opposed to feeding back into Elon Musk's and Grok, and then their answers that you don't know what they're doing with this, so they can even tinker this in their own database, and you don't have access to this. This one is on the blockchain forever, and you can so if it gives a different answer in the future, you have a historical record saying on April 30th this posted here, this answer was given here. So especially for real-time news events, that could be useful. Hey, something you cannot fly through. Well, they didn't fly through anyways. But again, even then they probably have UFO tech or probably the. I think it's just there's a lot of fear mongering going with the Van Allen belt. Okay. All right, and let's see what else. Other questions before we get into the Van Allen stuff here. I'm gonna go over to YouTube. So I had some questions here. This person, if you haven't seen my latest video, it was this was okay. Have you ever done this was asking about this is a ball dropped experiment. I mean the magnetic drop. Okay. So if you had a look at this one, it's 34 minutes. I'm gonna do some shorter ones. I'm gonna try to combine them all into super short. Like a minute, 2 minutes videos here, and I'll go to the end right here just to illustrate the stuff here. So here's the final results right here. Yeah, I'll actually the important one's over here. So the final results. This was so basically if you have a magnet like this is just a normal magnet. This is north and south, and then so the north drop if falling down a 6-foot long copper tube, and then 2 5-foot copper tubes around it. Basically 6 foot down with copper, and then it's got 57 seconds it fell down, magnet by itself, and then on the south side 55, and then on this one right here 37 seconds fell down if you put 2 of them together in attraction. And then 36 here, but then the key one here, this one is this is like the Boyd Bushman experiment. If you put these in repulsion, again, this is these are like one of the only videos ever put online, or one of a few ever done publicly, of magnets and repulsion down the tube, and then the time doubles, 72 seconds versus 36, because these ones are half the weight, so and it's still slower than this one. And anyways, this guy's asking, again, this one's making a statement without a real point. Have you ever dropped the ball down an almost same circumference tube? Go do that and look at this, a column of air as resistance. Yes, it does, but there is significant gap in these tubes, and air resistance is negligible. Oh my goodness, how do you negligible, like how do you spell words? My goodness. And you can even see right here lens law copper tube, other people doing this. Okay, and then I think they had actually I want to ask him that as well. Okay, this is a normal ball. Why does this no sound here? It goes down pretty slow. Where's this tube right here? Okay, I don't know why he's no sound or anything, but anyways, I was gonna send a video, but I think I'll just reply. It's all good. It's all the same thing. And the thing is, again, it's negligible. I literally have a ball. It's almost same diameter. This is about the same thing as the these experiments. You just drop this in here, and it falls down slowly. If you had anything else just falling down, it goes down like with zero resistance. Anyways, this is like the Lenza law slash Boyd Bushman indirect validation, and I'll be uploading better ones. Okay. Okay, Timothy Sullivan says, I wonder about the jumpers. How did they survive the blast and find the holes? Why didn't they descend the stairs if the firefighters were ascending and not finding any active fires? Yeah, but the thing is that they might have seen some weird mist and stuff. Like Melissa Doy said that she couldn't see anything, even though but she thought it was smoke. But the thing is, she's not coughing. So here's the dust 911 inside. And also like other areas could have been dustified too. So it's like, yeah, there might not be fires, but like the internal ones are literally turning to dust. So they probably, I'm gonna say mist, 9/11 mist, photo, dust. Where's the there is one of it. Again, you have this weird stuff here. I gotta find that photo. Rare dust, 9/11 building dust. It's like, I gotta find that photo. That's a great photo. It helps illustrate this point very, very well here. So I'm gonna go right here. Rare photo inside WTC before they fell. Jumpers raised many questions. What about the surfer? Yeah, that is true. There's one inside that was like all dust. I don't know where photo of inside before the collapse. I think it might have been something else of inside. There was one that I gotta find that photo. There was one. It's like a misty, dusty. Okay, let's see how many posts are there. There's 28. Okay, so we should be able to. It should be somewhere in here. 9/11 inside. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure where it is. But there was one that shows some pretty interesting mist stuff. But yeah, so why didn't they descend it? It could be a lot of other stuff. Was that blood on the windows? Interesting. I am not sure. It could be something like that. It's a bunch of random stuff on this window. And there's, at this point here, there's the sphere literally standing there. And these are, I think this building 6, just perfectly, and then it also turns to dust. Alright. Interesting. And again, paper and everywhere. Alright, so this is this part. And I just want to see if there's any other questions here. Okay, and then, yeah, this one here, I wanted to ask, I'm going to email quickly Inventor 3. Inventor. Okay, I'll say, I hope you like it. Also, Paul, would you able to film a drop test with similar sized objects that are not magnetic to get a to get a sense of how fast they drop. Yeah. Also, if you could find an a similar that is almost the exact same. Yeah, that is almost exact. Same diameter as the tubes to see what effect air resistance could be. Lastly, please do the 5/8 by 1/8 experiments when you have time, as those drop faster in repulsion. According to your previous notes. Alright. And sending stuff. The mass was fuming moments before destination. I just noticed. Interesting. Okay, get those footage there. Crazy to think those airplanes were swapped in a hangar, all forced to make their last phone calls and execute on the side. But also there were no. Well, it could be. But some of them are like part of the no. But also the swapping. Yeah, they could have been swapped or something like that. But the actual thingies that flew weren't the thing. So they're not necessarily swapped. They just go in there and taken out. Like there's no need for swapping because none of the planes did stuff. Let's see if there's got to be something like this. If I find fumes. Okay, I'm gonna go. There's got to be the weird fuming one. But anyways, the key part here I wanted to show this showing here, peak 9/11. Then we'll go back to some interesting moon landing stuff. So if we go to the dustification part, here's the this part right here. I'm gonna go over this one here. This is all the entire time. Yeah, the holograms are swapped. So when people say, yeah, the jumpers, why don't they go down it or whatnot, but you also keep in mind, for hours, or yeah, I mean over an hour, the buildings were literally turning to dust from inside out. So going back in here. So, okay, why is it just so slow lately? Okay, they swapped the real plane with the missile again. The tech used to project something that looked like American passenger. That's what I meant by swapping. Yeah, or it could be. I call it a carrier vehicle. I think there's something physical. It's not just a normal missile. It's definitely not a normal missile. Okay, so this is again from 8:49 to 10:23. This is just the South Tower. So people wondering, well, why don't they go down? But look at how much fumes is coming out. So, like, what is actually happening in there? Even though there's very little fires, yeah, but there's also dustification going on. And okay, and actually that was the North Tower. Okay, now this is that object. This is that weird object. This is before I didn't know how to pan and zoom in my editing abilities. The fuming spire, interesting. And also the explosion, like, I also find it interesting. It's like past. It's not actually inside the building, but it's like. But the object went into the building. Yeah, so like this is fuming for like literally so long. If you go fast forward, I'm gonna go fast forward, 45 times speed. So now it's like times it by 10. So it's like every second is like 20. It's like 1 hour. There it is. So it's like, and it's also turning all this dust as well. But the thing is, what was happening inside? And some of the firefighters, I think they said that when they were running down it, all of a sudden like the whole wall started crumbling into like dust. Chris thinks that 9/11 was planned before towers built by the same Rockefeller made sure that it got in the building. Well, yeah, but again, he's just like a high figurehead. There's very little like single individuals that can control all this mayhem, unless you're the actual devil. All right. Anyways, okay. So that's the stuff here, and I'm gonna go over. I think. And yes, basically the reason I'm going over this Van Allen belt stuff is I got some comments here from someone that initially thought I was deleting his comments. Like I literally don't care. Unless someone's trashing me, I'm gonna delete them. But okay, let's see. Here, this is the Van Allen. Okay, so. Okay, this guy says I should look into Randall Carlson's work on the pyramids. Yeah, I might do pyramid. Okay, this guy here says he says, "Hey, why did you delete my comment from a video about the moon landing? I asked a legitimate question about the Van Allen belt, and you didn't answer. Why didn't you answer about the Van Allen belt?" I'm like, "What is your question? I didn't delete anything." He said, "So someone deleted it besides you. Anyway, my question continues, and I would like to explain it because I believe you are able to answer it. Excuse me if I don't know what the Van Allen belt is because I researched about it and I always distrust certain videos. Thank you. Good question. I'll do a deep dive on Wednesday stream as I would like to learn more about it as well." So the good people who know how false the quote moon landing was need more concrete answers than just comparing shadows of flags. That's true. Well, it's like it's a lot of people that they say moon landing is fake. They don't actually. It's like they have the assumption that they stick with the conclusion at the beginning. So moon landing is fake, and now trying to find answers. As opposed to what is actual evidence saying. So they need more concrete answers than just comparing shadows of flags. NASA itself admits that there is a Van Allen belt, but they explain that there are forms of isolation so as not to get radiation. It would be interesting when you make a video specifically on the subject that you make a study, for example, types of clothing, and even the fuselage contains an insulating material. Another important detail is that if it was not you who deleted my comment about the Van Allen belt, then it means that whoever deleted it should also have the quote impression or certainty that this detail could be much more important than measuring flag shadows. Think about it. I'm like, or it's just a random YouTube occurrence. Some of my own comments, yeah, don't show up sometimes. Is there one more reason to investigate the subject? Perfect. All right. Melania Trump is fake. All right, Donald Duck is back. Let's go. Yeah. All right. Anyways, I'm gonna go over here. So now we're gonna go over the okay, the Van Allen belt. It's basically a radiation zone. It's just think of a giant magnet, and then particles get stuck in there because of the magnetic field. So I want to show this, and then go back into this one here at an argument. Not well, it's not really an argument. It's just someone's stating stuff, and I'm like, where are you guys getting this info from? I'm gonna go Van Allen in the chat. Okay. Okay. Let's go here. Okay, so Daniel says, he posted on my Telegram, says, still haven't addressed the radiation levels of the astronauts themselves who were not wearing their spacesuits inside a thinly protected craft 1.5 inches of lead. That's pretty thick, in my estimates. While dozens of solar storms were occurring, not to mention passing through the Van Allen belt and back, how much radiation would they be subject to without the magnetic protection of the belt? Van Allen belt... Without the magnetic protection of the belt. Okay, give me a more precise claim. How much radiation expected and how much can the suits AL withstand? The radiation issue doesn't seem to be significant from what I read. He said it's not significant. They don't even mention the storms. The entire claim is explained on moonfaker.com. So I will and I said I'll have a look. But can you summarize exactly their claims? He says already did. The materials overlooked Van Allen's own writings from 1950s about the belts, which is so radioactive it has Geiger counters he sent up there were destroyed. Satellites cannot operate safely within it. That's 150 rad going through it at one time. Humans can only take 300. The Soviets, so humans can take 300. This is 150 going one time. The Soviets sent turtles around the moon in 1968, and they are radioactive resistance. Radioactive turtles. So what is this? Where they get the radioactive Ninja Turtles from? No official NASA material mentions the solar storms, and they conclude in slides that I have seen that the astronauts had less than one fraction of one dose of radiation. All right, it's like that's pretty big claims, but like, send me something. Van Allen concluded in 1959 that the craft would have to be surrounded in 2 meters of water all the way around to protect humans from radiation. Yeah, but 1.5 inches of lead is pretty big. And then send me these stuff. Van Allen belt. Send a PDF right here. How do I open it? It's like now I can't open anything. Like, what is going on here? Just open the thingy. My goodness. Okay, it opened here. I'm getting some messages. Okay, I'm gonna go right here. 4-stage rocket. Okay, this is again. It's like when we're using. Okay, this is giant Scientific American. It's like when we're using guys that believe in the like everyone here, the Scientific America, who are writing this stuff, they believe in the moon landing, or at least promote it in public. So it's like, well, instruments. Okay, this is James Allen, 1959. Says the belts are basically some radiation zone that particles get trapped in, and there's thicker in here and very light over there. Okay, I saw the XNXX tab on who? Talking to me or talking to Alex Jones? All right. It said it found a passage where. Okay. Anyways. Grox. Which part is? Yeah. So anyways, then he also sent this one here. I'll go over this one, but Earth is wrapped in deadly belts of radiation, and it's like a donut shaped. again, non-linear progression of moon space exploration, how we didn't go back, how we didn't establish a base or install a telescope. We just sort of lost interest 50 years ago. But again, the tech that the public tech is just literally just a firecracker, and they spent $500 billion by today's dollars just to get the person on the moon, and now this funding is much less. So it's like, by mainstream standards, the entire moon landing was just a show of, like, it was just a vanity project. So they weren't thinking about getting people on the moon, like they were on bases on the moon, from the mainstream perspective, because it was just a vanity project to waste money and increase poverty and so on. Anyways, here's Grok AI's response. Which part is wrong? So I sent this one here. Also, the claims of 60s tech, navigation, and communication, computing that supposedly occurred. Yeah, but I don't see an issue with that. Like, John Hutchison uses like 1900s technology for all of his tests and so on, and he's able to like even communication instruments and so on. They had pretty advanced mechanical ones. So anyways, so I asked Grok, summarizing bullet points, what is wrong and right in this moon landing skeptics claims, and then and gave me here. So Van Allen are highly radioactive regions and so on, and so on right here. But anyways, it is true that astronauts, their data says that there was 0.18, barely any rad, 1.14 rad in total, and so on. But anyways, just to illustrate, because like I haven't looked at it too much, but then anyways, he responded here. The theory is that some missions were just orbiting the Earth in Gemini fashion, and others, such as Apollo 17, never left Earth, as there are no space shuttle pictures or videos for that mission. Apollo 17, I'm not sure. They seem to be a lot. Read the Grok thing, interesting. Just because Van Allen himself went on to contradict his own analysis is not proof. Furthermore, Grok doesn't mention that satellites turn themselves off when they travel through the bands of the belt to avoid interference problems. Yes, I was being hyperbolic that guide counters were destroyed, but the counters were maxed out. And yes, it is absurd to say that astronauts will get a fraction of dose 0.28 by passing through the Van Allen belt, which in those primary source documents I sent from Van Allen, that's 1959, show a substantial amount of radiation with even with lead protection. After leaving the belt without magnetic protection in the spaceflight and the EVAs on the moon's surface, which has no atmosphere, large amounts of radiation are expected. One dose of radiation is total absurd. And I said, can you screenshot the quote from the document itself? How long was exposure at times? And also, this is the alleged Vancouver attack. So someone pointed out I should next time there's a site, I should go ahead there and film right away. So this is pretty brutal. At least appears from it. Younger generations have much less faith that we actually went. It seems more like boomer folklore. I don't know. The younger ones just go on Reddit. What I found is a lot of conspiracy people greatly underestimate how much the entire world believes an official story on every single event. So it's like, if you're a younger generation, believe in the moon landing, okay? It's like, or at least the loudest ones. The younger one, they all believe in the whatever the mainstream mumbo jumbo is. 9/11, all that. It's all the same stuff. At least actionable like beliefs. Like are they willing to do anything about it? Okay. Anyways, I may want to do a deep dive on this eventually. But again, there's psyops everywhere. It's hard to take. Anyways, so it's hard to keep track of every single one. So anyways, so this guy he sent me. So Daniel sent me this, and it's like from Van Allen, 1959, and it's like space station must orbit below 400 miles or 300. Okay. Anyways, it's like I don't understand what is going on here. Okay, and he says, with equipment shielded in about the manner that ordinary minimum structural considerations for space vehicles would dictate, exposure levels of some 20 rad per hour have been observed in the heart of the inner zone. That's the inner zone. Exposures of several times this level in the heart of the outer zone. The radiation level in the inner zone is only mildly reduced by 4 grams per centimeters squared of lead. That's basically lead protection. But the radiation level in the outer zone is reduced by a factor of at least 500 by the same lead shield. So reduced by 500, and that's where the moon landing guys went, apparently. So when I said, this screenshot doesn't show anything out of the ordinary, neither does this. And then he says, we're talking 1 to 2 hours with an Van Allen belt that's at least 40 rad. Inner zone is about 20 rad per hour within a shield of 1 gram per centimeter squared. It's like, all right. And I said, and they didn't go through the inner zone. And he says, in a screenshot, it says outer zone is more hazardous. No, it didn't. It says 500 times more protection from that lead shielding. And its value fluctuates, but still, without confirmation, they were even there. Anyways, and he says, I'll probably get more radiation from walking in the sun for 20 minutes. And the official story says astronauts got. Anyways, keep going further. And he says, the Apollo 11 mission, like all Apollo missions to the moon, traversed the Earth's Van Allen radiation belt. This region extending from 1,000 kilometers to 12,000 kilometers above Earth is primarily composed of energetic protons, while the inner belt composed of radiation hazard. Apollo's ballistic trajectory allowed the spacecraft to pass through quickly, minimizing exposure, making the radiation dose well below dangerous level. And then he says, where did you hear that they didn't go through the inner zone? How did they not pass through the belt? And I'll get to this in a bit. I'm going to just have someone on the door. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so basically, so this guy is an expert in Van Allen belts, but then he didn't. It's like, why am I? And then he didn't know that they didn't pass through the inner zone. And this is another one from Stephen F. So this is an interesting brief analysis, which says NASA are grossly underestimating radiation count exposure, but actual exposure may not have killed the astronaut as below fatal dose. It also includes links to tools to simulate the alleged trajectories and calculate the radiation doses. This again has implications for radiation damage to undeveloped film. But again, even if it's like radiation damage too, it's like there's so much film, so much footage, so much photos, so much audio recording, and it's like you'll need to find something. So that even if the film wasn't damaged, then all you'll be doing is saying, oh, they actually used some advanced film. It's like, anyways, and then I replied here. And I said, I've seen several places. Also, they could have avoided the belts altogether if needed. This is another part that I didn't realize why nobody mentioned. This is from the mainstream debunker guy. Again, he's a gatekeeper, but because he doesn't talk about 9/11. So you have to realize, my view is everyone's a gatekeeper if they're talking about conspiracy topics, but they don't mention 9/11, including mainstream debunkers, but also the moon landing people. Anyone saying moon landing is fake, but then they don't get 9/11 correct, and then it's like, well, whatever. And the only reason I even entertained it being fake was because Andrew Johnson covered it. Anyway, so here's the mainstream reason. There's the inner belt and there's the outer belt. Basically, anything with rotation, anything with a magnet, just around it has some belts. And it has some like has some ether rotation. That's pretty much what I think it is. Anyways, and then things get caught up in there, and there's the outer Van Allen belt, inner one. And then what I want to illustrate is that if it was so dangerous, they could have went around it. So here is, we'll listen to the mainstream stuff on it first.
Commented topics, but against those flat Earth. Although it is worth noting, moon landing did flat Earth case. The humans can't out the Van Allen belts is claiming that humans can't pass through them, so therefore the moon landings must have been faked, which simply is not the case. And in this video, we'll aim to cover the main reasons why, and also why, in my opinion, the whole idea of using the Van Allen belts as evidence against the moon landings is quite bewildering. Ultimately...
Yeah, so here's the... I want to go over to this part here. Then we'll actually go over what it is. So apparently, when they do these orbits, they basically go into an Earth orbit and then pick up speed and then launch themselves out. But they can launch themselves out without even getting into the belt. And there's actually papers done on this. See this?
The northern and southernmost areas of Earth have no belts above them. If the belts were that much of a problem, NASA could have put Apollo into a polar orbit, looping north and south over the poles, which would then mean the translunar injection burn would send them cleanly above or below the belts and avoid them altogether. In reality, NASA didn't do this because getting into a polar orbit requires more fuel than one closer to an equatorial orbit because it doesn't take any advantage of Earth's rotation, but it would still be doable. So they could still get past the belts entirely if necessary, rather than only missing part of the belts by using their 30 degrees inclined orbit.
All right, yeah. So basically, they could have done polar one, vertical, but then the Earth's rotating, so if you're going along with it, and then you could actually launch yourself faster at the beginning. So it's like, again, I don't understand what's so interesting about the belts.
But then the reason that people think that NASA faked the moon landings was...
Why does NASA say belts are present-day obstacles? Well, again, these are questions for like separate questions. What I'm trying to say is, according to the mainstream, whatever, they can go around it without issue. And this one, I think one reason about the belts is modern electronics. They are. I'm gonna go over. Let's go to belt right here. I think modern day electronics, they're more affected by it because back then they had a lot of mechanical stuff. Let's go right here. Why does it say belts are present day obstacles? Let's see what this says right here, and let's see what Grok says. Okay. Let's see modern day. Due to the high radiation level, which poses a significant threat, doesn't mean they're insurmountable, as skeptics claims. Just break down bullet points. High radiation levels, modern day mission requirements, current and future missions like those to the moon, Mars may involve longer durations or more complex orbits, potentially increasing exposure. The belts, modern are using advanced compact electronics that are more susceptible. That is another thing. They're really compact. So if you have one little thingy that touches it, you can glitch it. John Hudson's in the house, guys. Let's go. The great relations. Oh, great. The relationship between the belts and the ELF Raves and Vladimir. Hi, John. Yeah, John. How are you doing? Yeah. So John had apparently he was sick earlier, but then also had I think he had an operation to get the catheter out. So that's pretty good. So anyway, so John Hudson's in the house. Hopefully you like that video with the Paul Mueller. I'm gonna make a shorter one soon. And NASA needs more taxpayers' money to overcome that challenge. Yeah, that's another part here of waves and ELF wave epic stuff. Okay, space weather exploration goals. Projects like that are Artemis mission involve sustained lunar presence or deep space missions requiring new shielding technologies. But anyways, I don't see what the actual. They probably just say we need more money. I don't know what the actual. Nothing saying that they can't. Like I just don't see what the issue is. Like I need to see something. But anyways, so they can go around it. And then I sent I'm gonna go over here. Where's the other stuff here? Yeah. And then this part right here I wanted to show is yeah. So I sent this guy right here. It says I've seen it together. So you didn't know that they didn't go through the inner one, but also they can avoid it if they needed to. So that's the thing. They can literally avoid it if they need to, but they'll spend more fuel. And then here's this another mainstream debunker guy. Actually, he's not a mainstream debunker. He's just a mainstream science guy. He just shows it. So this is the trajectory of the lunar orbits. This is Apollo flight course outbound. This would fly around it, and then the other one is flying backward. So it barely goes into the belt at all. And this is from this guy here. And what's interesting is this guy.
One of the most.
This guy always does the hand thing, so that's interesting. So this guy right here always does the hand thing. Okay, and then let's see the...
Be lethal, but the Apollo crews only spent about 6 hours within the Van Allen belts because the body has to try and repair itself and contend with the continual damage whilst it's doing this. If you spent an extended period within the Van Allen belts, then the effects would be lethal. But the Apollo crews only spent about 6 hours in total, around 3.5 hours going and 2.5 hours returning several days later, effectively 2 short bursts separated by a rest period. More importantly, the course which each of the Apollo craft took avoided the most lethal parts of the inner belts completely, and they only went through the thinnest parts of the outer belt. All the astronauts wore dosimeters to measure their personal radiation exposure levels during the flight and reported results back to NASA at regular intervals. In total, the amount of radiation that the Apollo crews received during their flights to and from the moon from high-energy protons, electrons and X-rays from the Bremsstrahlung effect was much less than that of the yearly allowed dose for someone working in the nuclear industry and regularly dealing with radioactive materials. In the end, the simple answer to why the Van Allen radiation belts were not the killer issue that some people think it was, and how the Apollo missions cut the radiation exposure for the crews to between just 1 and 5% of what it could have been, is because the Apollo missions didn't need to go straight through the Van Allen belts. They basically flew around the most deadly areas and were not in the less dangerous areas for long enough for it to be a showstopper. This remains true today as it is for any future missions. Why go through it when you can just go around it? Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it interesting.
Yeah, so yeah, that's another part. Like I was hoping there's something like super, like a real reason. Like what's the issue with Van Allen belt? But anyways, so I sent this one here. It didn't reply anymore. Like I don't understand. Okay, let's go back to this guy right here. Yeah, and another part is I think 29,000 tons of thermite mentioned. Yeah, and almost none of the moon landing faker people mentioned 9/11 do. So it's like, what's going on? Okay, Hudson fact introduction: VLF bubble protects against cosmic rays. Epic. I'm gonna ask some Grok AI stuff on ham radio, Earth, Moon, fun. Yeah. Actually, yeah, John. I'm gonna ask some questions. Are you able to like detect communications from satellites like far away, like or is that too far, or is there anyone near the moon that you can connect to and listen to them talking, or listen to them operating, or whoever is in the or whatever is happening there? Actually, that's a bad question, but anyways, it's a good. I'm gonna ask this right here. Is this true? And is this related to the belts? A 3-hour long X-ray without lead apron on. Okay, what is this guy talking about? Okay, Vortex. Kev says, "Hi people, I'm a nerd. This is where I'm accepted." Let's go. We got a Vortex nerd in the house. Oh, I can get satellites. Interesting. Okay, yeah. The claim VLF bubble protecting against cosmic rays and count is partially true, but requires clarification regarding its scope. VLF bubble, very low frequency VLF waves, typically 3 to 30 kilohertz, are transmitted ground stations for communications, e.g. submarines. These waves extend into space, interacting with charged particles in Earth's magnetosphere. Research shows that VLF waves create a VLF bubble where they can scatter high energy particles and so on. High energy electrons. Interesting. Okay, it's like all these like things. I just want to make it tell us in a video. Okay, so it is interesting. Oh, I can get satellites. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. So John, UHF radios. This is ultra high frequency radios. He can get captures. Like listen in on satellites. That's crazy. Yeah, so John Hutchins, guys, he's got contraptions for days. Okay, I'm gonna do some. There's another question here. I'm gonna go over some math one. Someone asked way back here. I'm gonna keep this one open. Actually, yeah, this one here. So this person asked me, first one, what would you suggest this hole is in this picture? This is a 9/11 one. Let's see. There should be a Grok button. So you can literally just click the button. What would you suggest this hole? So I think Grok's just taking over the game. Okay, stabilizing. Investor. Okay, what is that hole there? I'll just say, what is this hole? Separately. Okay, what is this hole in the WTC cleanup? And then, so you can also go here, 10i. Use a Ravio RBA radio for picking up VLF. Oh, interesting. Okay, and this is oh, these are 9/11 nuke people. I just want to get some like real stuff. 2008 regions rock. Scenes from the Ice Age. Okay. Okay, where's the spot right here? The specific excavation, often referred to as a bathtub, is the 70-foot deep foundation where the once the hole was created during the original WTC construction in the 60s to build the tower's foundation below the water table, requiring a slurry wall to keep groundwater out from after the bathtubs. This area, focal point for debris removal or cover. Early foundation work for new structures like one tread. Okay, this one I think that's yeah, I don't know what the. Okay, here's what Grok says. Okay, I'll just send this thing here. And I'll just reply to him right here, and he says, I think it's part of the construction of the bathtub. Here is what Grok says. Okay, yeah, anyways, this image. Glacial erratics were under building 4 just to the side of the bathtub wall. Interesting. Yeah, more fun. A USA, a cosmic ray counter, connect to a chart recorder, lots of cool stuff. Use a, yeah, so John is at next level here. Remains of an ancient boat found underneath the building. An ancient boat? No way. Rotary motion. Yeah, I want to get back into the groove here. Okay, so where did he send here? Anyways, where's the boat? Okay, anyways, I'm gonna I do want to show one thing here. This is probably one of the funniest things ever. I made this one during the debunking MH370. Let's go to physics. Okay, yeah, this one right here. So this is the I cannot believe this video is even possible to be made. This is MH370 teleportation fakery. Throwback to when Ashton Forbes said you need to understand math and physics better than most PhDs in order to create the VFX stock footage portal implosion, while at the same time saying all dispersal patterns look the same, just like people's buttholes. And then basically, how is this man being taken seriously? And again, if you haven't seen this one, this is one of the funniest things ever. I don't even know how this is even possible. Like, how can these two contrasting statements come out of his mouth? Let's play this right here. And then I made this edit, put them together. It's one of the funniest things ever. Any info on the magnetometer readings of 9/11? Oh, let's go, John. I'll play those in a bit. 1 second.
If somebody was gonna fake an event, they would fake it as an explosion.
This is that grifter guy, John. He doesn't he mentions your name but doesn't actually talk about the Hutchinson effect, which is really strange. I'm gonna play this right here.
If somebody was gonna fake an event, they would fake it as an explosion, because there's no basis to even think to create this. Somebody that would have to fake this is gonna have to understand physics better than most PhDs out there. In order to create the pattern that we saw, they're gonna have to understand math better than most PhD math experts as well. So this requires a huge amount of creativity if they were going to create this. There's no basis to copy this from. So what we see here is this endothermic event that's absorbing energy. We've speculated that this is potentially sucking the energy out of these lithium-ion batteries so that you can actually save this plane.
Let's see how he proves that it's not stock footage.
So as a statement of fact, those do not match.
Dude, it is exact.
Thank you, Danny.
It's not though. You see that the black actually does not line up, right? You see how it's not the same on the the edges? All dispersal patterns look the same.
Did you know that? All dispersal patterns look the same?
All dispersion? No.
This is like saying that my butthole is your butthole because they're similar.
What? Okay, that's wild. To think, like, when you want to be taken seriously, that's what you go.
Somebody that would have to fake this is going to have to understand physics better than most PhDs out there. In order to create the pattern that we saw, they're going to have to understand math better than most PhD math experts as well.
This is like saying that my butthole is your butthole because they're similar. This is like saying
Somebody
that,
that
my
would have
butthole
to
is your
fake this
butthole
is going to have to
because they're
understand
similar.
physics better
This is
than
like
most
saying that my
PhDs
butthole
out
is
there.
your butthole because they're
In order to
similar.
create the pattern
This is
that
like
we
saying
saw,
that
they're going to
my
have to
butthole
understand
is your
math
butthole because
better
they're
than most
similar.
PhD math
This is like saying that
experts
my
as well.
butthole is your butthole because they're similar.
All right, all right. Anyways, that's Ashton Forbes to lighten up the day. All right, Hudson says any info on magnetometer readings on 9/11? Well, I haven't any new info besides the one I made, that giant video, that 1 hour long video. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Magnetometer. So this one I made with a lot of input from Judy Wood's work, and this one is the magnetometer one, I think. Where's the magnetometer? I made it right here. 6 different ones. Yeah, I made this edit right here. So 6 different magnetometer stations near Alaska detected Earth's magnetic field fluctuate to the exact time of each major event on 9/11. So that's just very, very fascinating. Let's see this one right here.
This was recorded in Alaska. Ground-based magnetometers at 6 different locations.
At precisely that moment, the Earth's magnetic field changed.
It seems this would include the Pentagon event and Shanksville.
All right, and what's interesting is what I actually uncovered is that if you look at the actual data right here, so if you look at this data, this is the magnetometer reading. This was from actually, I think I made it much better afterwards. Okay, I made it way better after. When did I do that way better? Okay, I'll have to go to the video. Okay, we're gonna go to the video and because I made it way better. Basically, what I want to show is see how all these things occur, but then the biggest fluctuations is during this entire period, and that's when Building 7 was turning dust. And I'll go right here. Part 33, and also again, the 33rd one has to be the biggest, the best 9/11 ones. Okay, John Hutchins says very important. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, this one I could say I discovered this because Judy Wood did mention that the biggest fluctuations when the Building 7 was turning to dust, but she doesn't actually show some physical evidence like of that point besides the magnetometer reading, and I'll illustrate this right here. Okay, magnetometer. Go right here. Magnetometer. Okay, I'm gonna click some stuff right here. 1 second. Getting messages. Okay, exploding. The Earth's magnetic field shifted abruptly with each WTC event.
This was recorded in Alaska. Ground-based magnetometers at 6 different locations.
At precisely that moment, the Earth's magnetic field changed.
It seems this would include the Pentagon event and Shanksville.
The charts of Earth's magnetic field is plotted in terms of the horizontal component H, the vertical component Z, and the angle D between true north and magnetic north. Note the low variation for the day leading up to 9/11. All the magnetometer readings fluctuate greatly as the events of 9/11 unfold, including the biggest variation during the afternoon as Building 7 was turning to dust. There was also a giant hurricane right off the coast of New York City on 9/11. Fumes from the WTC were also visible from space. Hurricane Aaron was heading directly towards New York City before being pushed to the right by a cold front on 9/11. Weather data and Earth's magnetic field are plotted in sync. Note the sudden and linear drop of humidity from 80% just before the first impact to 40% just after the Twin Towers fell. Note also the gradually increasing air pressure until peaking when the South Tower fell, and then falling to a bottom when Building 7 fell. This coincides with a high-pressure cold front arriving from the west. just as Hurricane Aaron arrived from the east. Hurricane Aaron's wind speed, pressure, and distance from New York City are plotted. Aaron was closest to NYC on the morning of 9/11, with its distance, wind speed, and pressure being constant for each event.
If you look at the speed of the hurricane, the pressure of the eye of the hurricane, and its location, for about 24 hours, 12 hours at either side of the events of 9/11, is constant. It's like a very controlled environment.
There was also a thunderstorm in New York City on the day before 9/11 on September 10th, 2001. All right, and yeah, and it keeps going on. I just want a bit more on this stuff. Yeah, there's a thunderstorm. In the morning of September 10th, there were strange cloud formations surrounding the Twin Towers. Many buildings. Alright, and it keeps going on. And also, guy's lens is apparently melted off his eyes without burning his eyes. So this guy's, it says his contact lens melted to his eyes, but he's like fine. Alright, and also, yeah, going back to the building 7 turning dust part. And this is, so this right here shows, so I showed that this is the biggest fluctuation is during the tower, this is building 7, that's the biggest fluctuation in magnetometer reading. But also, that's the biggest electromagnetic footage interference was from building 7. So here's the building 7. I'll go to the building 7 right here. Yeah, so this building 7 is also mystery aircraft, but this building 7 is during the most static interference, and it's for like hours. So, and you get, if you watch this one, and like literally an hour, just static interference. Almost all of it is building 7, so it's fascinating. And that's the biggest one. And also, as well as mental energy of folks of shock. Yeah, for sure. That was also the consciousness project. Also showed some big effects. Okay, what is also funny, if you combine all the wealth of billionaires together, it far exceeds what is needed to go back to the moon and back, so why it never happen again? All the billionaires. What do you mean? The government can print money. Government spends $1 trillion a year on military. They can go there anytime they want, but they need, according to mainstream reasons, other stuff. Anyways, Gary Jackson in the show. I'm an hour late, saturated with ketchup. Oh, ketchup or ketchup? When steel moves, it makes it remakes magnetic energy. Interesting. And also, I'll make another one. This one, I'll do a video on this part. I think 9/11 Revisionist sent me this. I'm gonna go to 9/11 Revisionist. So this video right here, just to illustrate. So we had the giant hurricane coming over.
This is Citicorp Center.
And then,
in the summer.
So there's a couple things. This one here from Veritasim, the mainstream gatekeeper. Basically, they were saying that the wind, they made some miscalculations. They didn't calculate for the winds at the corridor of the buildings, and then so they were afraid this would topple over. So then, during the construction or during the repair side, they literally gave like a warning to like an entire city block, I think possible evacuation notice. I'm gonna go to, I'll be finding it right here. I think it's all the way near the end. And then he makes a pretty. Yeah, there's a couple things. First of all, there was a hurricane on the way, and they were super scared. So then they gave like evacuation notice to like everyone around that building, and then luckily it turned right and didn't hit them. But it's like this is what would have happened if there was an actual hurricane that wasn't steered. So this is this part right here.
Evacuation. Was making her
was a strong storm.
So there was a chance.
There was absolutely a chance, and they had to prepare for that chance.
By Friday, September 1st, Ella was making her way toward New York with winds reaching 200 kilometers per hour. City officials braced to start the evacuation. Police would go door to door to get everyone out within a 10-block radius. For 24 tense hours, Ella stalled around North Carolina.
Like LeMessurier said, we were sweating blood.
But sometime in the night, Hurricane Ella veered off into the sea at the last minute. It intensified and hit Canada with peak winds of 225 kilometers per hour. But Citicorp was safe.
Okay, did you hear that again? I have to play that again for you guys. So there's a hurricane coming there from September 1st out of all the days, just like Hurricane Aaron. And then they put a hurricane watch, and they said everybody evacuate every building. Let's see, within like 10 blocks.
By Friday, September 1st, Ella was making her way toward New York with winds reaching 200 kilometers per hour. City officials braced to start the evacuation. Police would go door to door to get everyone out within a 10-block radius. For 24 tense hours, Ella stalled around North Carolina.
Like LeMessurier said, we were sweating blood.
But sometime in the night, Hurricane Ella veered off into the sea at the last minute. It intensified and hit Canada with peak winds of 225 kilometers per hour. But Citicorp was safe.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to this Citicorp building. Yeah, so they basically, I think, evacuate everybody. It's in case. I watched that Citicorp building last night, Synchronicity. Yeah, it was pretty viral. And then if you go to the hurricane, let's go to evacuate. Okay, no mention evacuated. My goodness, I'm gonna go to summarize. So I'm not gonna do summarize. Actually, I'll put it right back to the thread. Okay, I'm gonna go right here. Summarize. Yeah, so if you saw that one, they literally had to evacuate and they were scared it was gonna hit them. But for 9/11, they didn't even mention it on the news, and besides like one or two times, and they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, it's just gonna move away." I'm like, what? and I was going for New York City, right in the center, and this one's just veered away. This is Manhattan, New York City. Seems like hurricanes doesn't like Manhattan. Yeah. Well, it's not hitting it, so it does like them. It's not. It's just going close, but not actually hitting it. But I think eventually there might be a big one of it hitting it, blaming it on climate change and Trump for tariffs or something. And then they say that Trump's tariffs caused hurricane to hit Manhattan. And the reason I say that is that this is a October surprise. So I wrote right here. No, this is interesting. This is a 2008 U.S. government document. A report says that Russia and Canada will be climate change winners due to warmer weather. But go back to this October surprise one. Where's October surprise? Yeah, this one right here. So November 2008 U.S. government document titled Global Trends 2025. Holy, what is going on here? Included our predictions of a global pandemic, mass migration, and an October surprise of an extreme weather event. Look right here. Again, this is from, first of all, they're saying they're going to do mass immigration. They're going to say Muslims in Western Europe due to war are going to flood them, and so on. And this is Global Trends, a Transformed World 2025. And then if you listen to here, October surprise, scenario 2, and this is 2025, okay, in the following fictionalized account, global inattention to climate change leads to major unexpected impacts, thrusting the world into a new level of vulnerability. Scientists are uncertain whether we already have hit a tipping point at which climate change has accelerated and whether there is little we can do, including reducing emissions that will mitigate effects even over the longer term. Most scientists believe we will not know whether we have hit a tipping point until it's too late. Uncertainties about the pace and specific vulnerabilities of impacts from climate change are likely to persist over the next 15 to 20 years, even if our knowledge about climate change deepens, according to many scientists. And then listen here. An extreme weather event, as described in this scenario, could occur. Coping with a greater frequency of such events, coupled with other physical impacts of climate change, such as growing water scarcities and more food crisis, may preoccupy our policymakers, even while options for solving world problems dwindle. In this example, relocating the New York Stock Exchange to a less vulnerable location is considered. So extreme weather event, 2025, New York Stock Exchange, and we had the Hurricane Aaron and that other hurricane going to New York and then shifting right suddenly. It's like foreshadowing. And then less vulnerable locations is considered. And this one is saying relocate in New York Stock Exchange but serious considerations also would be given to relocate other institutions to ensure continuity of operations. Although this scenario focuses on an event that occurs in the U.S., other governments have been caught with surprise at different types of environmental disasters and have suffered a loss of standing. Mitigation efforts, further cutbacks in carbon emissions are unlikely to make any difference, at least in the short term, according to this account. Such a world involving major dislocations could threaten both developed and developing countries. Anyways, so that is that. John Hutchinson says, remember Art Bell's experiments with weather group consciousness? Interesting. I haven't seen that. Fitz on Tucker's show was talking about free energy and the 2012 conference, but did not mention Judy Wood, where breakthrough energy was just weaponized. Austin Fitz. Anyone on Tucker Carlson is like vetted for Freemasonic. What's it called? Badges. You need a certain degree to get on it. And we were just talking about that. Yeah, none of them mentioned the do. Literally no one. That is true. Just watch Citicorp. Yeah. So that Citicorp one, I'm going to make some clips of it, just illustrate. And also they're scared about it being toppled over. And let's see, they're topping over. I'm going to click right here. Transcript. I'm going to go to toppled. Toppled. Okay. Let's see what this says here.
Leading to something more disastrous?
Absolutely. This would have toppled. And it would have toppled into another building, which would have toppled into another building, which would have continued a horrific process. So it was untold what the ultimate effects could have been.
I mean, like, just the evacuation plans were how many people?
Thousands. The building itself housed thousands. And then the residents and the businesses surrounding the building, it was into the thousands.
Okay, and then I'm going to see how tall it is. Tall. Floors. Okay, this is 915 feet, and they're worried about a bit toppling over. 915 feet, and the spire is 900 feet. the spire is literally like this tall, and it's probably almost as wide as that, I would assume. This is how many meters wide is this? Let's see I'm gonna ask Grok right now. Okay. Let's go back to Grok. Grok. What is happening here? Okay. How wide is the Citicorp building in feet, and how tall? Okay, I'm gonna increase this. Okay. Okay, structures cantilever 72 feet. So 150 to 200 feet per side. Interesting. Okay, so so it's I would say it's about 3 times wider than the spire there, but this is at 915 feet, 279 meters, and the 900-foot spire fell straight down into dust. And then whereas this Citicorp, this one right here. So imagine like a third of it, that'd be the spire, that hall, and then the spire literally just turns into dust. And this one, they're scared of it toppling over. Whereas the other one, they're not toppling over. Okay, Timothy says, I trust Fitz as far as I can throw that stout woman. She's part of that overseas set who's always commenting on U.S. from foreign shores. Fitz lives in the Netherlands, Whitney Webb, UK, Corbett, Japan. Corbett's in Japan. Interesting. Yeah, so Timmy Sullivan is like literally knows every single name of every discernible agent and where they live. And he has photos of Abrina Abramovich at the grocery store. All right, so he's in the know, big time. Anyways, and so there's Citicorp. They made a big diagram. Anyways, I'll make some clips of it. This is very, very fascinating stuff and very, very telling. And also, John Hutch says, "Do would have to me directed antimatter electromagnetic system." Yeah. I was gonna discuss the antimatter stuff there. I posted your. I was gonna do that in one of the streams. Anyways, we have 37 minutes left. antimatter. I posted that article you sent on here. So this one, so I said, John Hudson sent me this very interesting 1984-85 paper prepared for the U.S. Air Force Rocket Propulsion Laboratory about anti-proton antimatter annihilation being used for propulsion in space. And this right here. And yeah, and then they show basically how to create protons, antimatter, antiprotons, and so on. And I think I'll do that for another stream, maybe. What are antimatter? Basically, I view antimatter just I think matter is just ether rotation circulation, and then antimatter is the reverse of each type. So if proton is circling clockwise, other ones counterclockwise, or if it's some sort of weird different types of circulation. But it's all ether circulation according to my mumbo jumbo. Anyways, this was using it for propulsion. So I took screenshots of all the important diagrams just to illustrate. This is all in the works. This was I think a NASA. I think it was a NASA one. Okay, so now I want to do some vacuum test experiments. But before we go to that, I'm gonna go over. So I had the messages right here from this guy. Okay, so this guy sent me some stuff here. So he's saying, look at this video, American Moon, and then saying if I can, because he believes that, he says, okay, anyways, I'll go over right here. Okay, the completely silent engine, this one's funny at 1:26:45, but before that, I want to go to this part right here. So he says, 12 minutes should be easy for you. Watch American Moon 2:04 to 2:16, question number 23, and it's talking about the dust. So, and I have a vacuum chamber, so we can at least do that. I'm going to go to American Moon. Antimatter big in 1983 t-shirts, shirts program funny, interesting. Yeah, but I do need to go to the washroom. I'll play, this one is, what else this guy says? No place for air to get trapped. Okay, this one here. Yeah, air is, okay. There's Paul Mueller in the house. I'm gonna go, what did this guy say? This guy says, look at 2:04 to 2:16. I'll play this. I'm gonna go to the washroom because I've seen a bit of it. So let's go to 2:04.
From video conversion, nor are they glares inside the lens. Can you explain what these flashes of light sometimes appearing over the head of the astronauts actually are? Can you?
Okay, this is question 22. Oh no, oh that's a movement right here.
Explain how it is possible to make a movement such as this one, or this one, like without some kind of external force.
Well, it's also like 1/3 the gravity. You can do a lot of stuff.
Pulling you upwards.
Yeah, anyways.
The last set of elements are Luna pictures. There are different elements suggesting if
okay, there's a dust one. There's a
of air instead, the element vacuum. As we all.
Okay, this is the. I'll go over this. I'm gonna go to the washroom. I'll be back, and I'll play this up. Actually, I do want to play something quick. I'll go to the washroom, but I'll play something so that you guys are at least interested. See if it's something Forbes, Ashton Forbes related. While I go washroom, you can listen to Ashton Forbes. Let's see what else was in here. Okay, I'll play this one here. I'm gonna go. This is wait, why is there a video? I just want to see a video. No, this was there's no video. Okay, I'll play. Yeah, I'll play this one here. This is from Jimmy Dore. How is Jimmy Dore show like literally taking that guy seriously? I'm gonna play this right here and go to washroom.
Oh, did you see the White House tech something guy who said we can manipulate time and space?
Yeah, did you see that? Oh, I want to get.
What in the hell does that mean?
Actually, wait. Rotor says play his videos link. Where did you link it? Which video do you want to play? Oh, is this the Austin Fitz one? Okay, Fetzer one, yeah, Fetzer. Okay, where's the linked video? Oh, this one right here. Never mind. Okay, I didn't see it.
So nanotechnology is a big deal. The issue with nanotechnology is are the processes and the processes for nanotechnology that we have used, that were being used at Sandia Labs by Stephen Jones and others, are very rudimentary. The people I worked with and knew him for years, and he always knew nanothermite never existed.
Stephen Jones?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are all diversionary things. I mean, obviously.
He knew it never existed. Guys I work with have known him for years.
Mm-hmm.
He was a respected physicist at Sandia Labs. He didn't work on the project, but it was not a big secret that it was an ISS project, and that nanothermite tests at Sandia had totally failed. And he knew this from day number one.
He did.
What does that tell you about him? And then, well, what would Judy
Says
Woods have to say about him?
Well, she would have a lot to say. I couldn't. I would let her speak for herself, of course, but she has a lot to say about Stephen Jones. Yeah.
And that he works for the Defense Intelligence Agency?
I don't think I've ever heard that. No. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. How about Richard Gage?
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Yeah. So the worst thing Judy has is Judy is set that up right, but she just doesn't pay attention when people actually tell her she's right. She's too busy defending herself, hypervigilant. What I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, she's in better shape than she's ever been.
Oh yeah, and about to be in even better shape. Yeah.
Relax, take on some confidence. Hey, time has proven her right.
Yeah.
She's fucking a one. She's the last man standing.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Yeah. So she's won. That's the whole fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
She's won.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you won. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking learn to win and take it well. Okay? You guys were fucking right. Okay?
Well, let's play another match. This game's not over.
Yeah. The whole fucking point is, Pete,
Yeah.
say you were right.
Yeah.
She was right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
Point well made.
All right. I actually didn't say who was he saying was right? Was he saying Judy Woods right? Okay.
Fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
She's won. Man standing.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Proven her right.
Oh yeah. And
Right now, she's in better shape than she's ever been.
oh yeah. And
But she just doesn't pay attention when people actually tell her she's right. She's too busy defending herself, hypervigilant. What I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, MES and I had a huge email battle for the truthers. Yeah, I'll go this quickly and I'll do some vacuum experiments. We have 30 minutes left, guys. 30 minutes. Just because the Fetzer stuff is absolutely hilarious. So Fetzer, again, he threatened Judy Wood, indirectly. I think it was an email saying, if you, and this was actually when Judy Wood came across John Hutchison's work, and then he said, if you bring in 9/11, bring in Hutchison effect to 9/11, and then you're gonna be like other people that end up missing or something. So there's John Hudson. I know many that worked with the SBIR program. I was in the 1983, 2005. Yeah, for sure. And if you can message Colonel John Alexander to get on the show as well, because I have some thoughts that he might be have some military ties where he's not allowed to talk. Anyways, so I'm gonna go with this Fetzer. Yeah, so Fetzer, he was in a giant email thread. So for what started off before was. I asked Fetzer I asked him about if he had any role in 2009, in the 2009 Ace Baker fake suicide. So I said, "Hi James Fetzer, I just wanted to ask you," and this was through an email list of like 40 people. Richard Gage is in it as well. The Gene Lartana, disinfo agent, and I asked, I just wanted to ask if you had any role in Ace Baker's fake 2009 suicide, or if you were not aware he was going to do that live on your radio show. And I said, any info, contacts for that event would be greatly appreciated. And then he responded saying that he had no role. But he never responded to me. Yeah, so James Fetzer never responded to my. That was in 2024 in December. December 2024 inquiry about Ace Baker's 2009 fake suicide. He never replied, so I thought I would follow up. And Fetzer has just responded saying he had no role in Ace Baker's performance art, but still engages with and admires him. So I, of course, I had to bring that up. Bring up that Ace covers up the Hutchinson effect. So again, it was a giant email list. I'm like calling everybody out right to their face. All right, I said, hi, Fetzer. I had asked you several months ago, but never got a reply. I just want to get your thoughts on the Ace Baker 2009 fake suicide. Were you aware he was going to do that? Did you have any role in it? And do you still interact with Ace? And what was his reasoning for that? I'm just very curious how this all occurred. And then he says, no, I was stunned and even called the California State Patrol, who put me in contact with the LAPD. They went to his house and he told them it was, quote, performance art. I lost the show over that. I didn't like it at all. Ace subsequently apologized and has earned a law degree. I featured him in my false flags and conspiracies conferences. 2023 false flags happen. So what? And then gender affirming care, the new lobotomy. And then he's a brilliant guy, and I admire him. So, get his show shut down for performance art, and then he still admires him. All right, and then I said, Fetzer, thanks for clarifying and providing details on the Ace Baker situation. I understand you view him highly, but unfortunately there are instances of him deliberately lying. For example, he has uploaded a deceptively muted video of an experiment by John Hutchison, insinuating he was using string when in fact the original audio clearly has John pointing out the high voltage wire. I've made a video about it and even emailed Ace Baker to retract and issue an apology for a slanderous video, but he has left it up. I will report it to YouTube right now, and I reported to YouTube. Okay, so there's that, and then to keep fast forward. Yeah, so fast forward. I called out Ace Baker to his face as well, and then and then fast forward to like a few days ago. Fetzer was talking nonsense. Yeah, I'll go Fetzer right here. Actually, I'll go Mayhem. I think it was yeah. So fast forward. He was talking against Norman and so on. But also he didn't reply to my message. I said that his nukes thing is complete nonsense. He said, Norman, don't hide Morgan's Reynolds skirt. Tell us what do I have wrong, etc. He ignored my message for some reason. And I said, Jim, shouldn't you be busy setting up another performance art with the brilliant Ace Baker? Perhaps you can all collaborate with Marina Abramovich. I hear she is the best performance artist. All right. So, anyways, MES causing a firestorm in the 9/11 mass email chain, and then going further. Actually, before even going to that, Ace Baker actually responded to that. And so here's Ace Baker. So Fetzer first said, Ace has gone to law school and has a law degree, so I'm certain he'll be well positioned to address your allegations. And Alexander Baker literally says the fake suicide was performance art, specifically the end of a chapter 10 of the Great American Psy Opera. Hutchison's videos are fake, mostly the old school Fred Astaire lights and camera mounted inside in the rotating room trick. It pissed me off because at the time I was hired to make a documentary about Judy Wood and her do theory. So he's hired there. And then Ace Baker's a family lawyer now. Interesting. Show it one more time. Which one is here? Yeah. They change color every day like chameleons. Disinfo. All right. So her and Morgan Reynolds were pretending to sue us. They literally did sue with lawyer Jerry Leapard. They brought Hutchison and his hilarious Hutchison effect as evidence in their fake lawsuit while ignoring the solid evidence of 9/11 airplane video composites. IAGB. Essentially, the entire 9/11 quote truth movement turned out to be controlled opposition. Thanks for reminding me to finally release Chapter 9, the controlled opposition, and Chapter 10, the solution. After all these years, of course, the WTC was nuked. Of course, there was no place to was nuked. And I said, hi, it's putting your quote performance art and delusions of 9/11 quote truth aside. Your deceptively muted audio of John Hudson's video slander. Please take it down the video and issue an apology. I reported your video for misinformation on YouTube. Hopefully YouTube takes it down. Here's a screenshot and a link to to my video exposing your lies. And he never responded to that. All right, and then going further. Anyway, and then I sent this one. Again, causing mayhem to him. And then afterwards, I sent this one here. Where Fetzer said him and Gordon Duff. The Gordon Duff was, I think, the guy that literally in that audio clip saying that Judy Wood won. When bad manners, the liberal dot connecting becomes a standard credibility. Anyways, James Fetzer, Gordon, these people, Norman and the other guy, are ignorant, name have never, blah, blah, blah. And I said, Fetzer, stop talking nonsense, or else your face might start molecularly dissociating like the last time you slandered Dr. Judy Wood. And and going further, this was earlier. He was on a germ warfare podcast. Like, how is germ getting this absolute like clown show? And then if you see his video, his face literally molecularly dissociates.
So the question here is, can you explain this?
In these right place at the right reason would not have survived. So it was just a fortuitous conversions of circumstances.
So the question here is, can you explain the 16 survivors at the bottom of the one tower, especially the 9/11 surfer that apparently fell from the 22nd floor down to a steel ledge about 7 floors high. When he looked up, there was nothing above him.
Well, you know, that's a really good question, and it appears you get these anomalies in these events where some people just happen to be in a position where they don't suffer the causal effects that are otherwise affecting the structure. So that it was the answer, I think, turns out to be it was a fluke. That they just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and it was what we'd commonly call a miracle that they survived. There was no good reason. Had they been anywhere else, they would not have survived. So it was just a fortuitous conversion of circumstance.
Look at his face, holy. Yeah, so he's saying, how come? And I'll show you what his bogus theory is. But anyways, his face is literally molecularly dissociating right here, like literally. And again, he says it was just all pure luck that 16 survivors inside a nuclear blast. Like what? Okay, I'll go to this one right here. So, 9/11 disinfo agent Fetzer was promoting the bogus quote Palmer report, which pushes the bogus underground mini nukes disinfo. The actual evidence shows very little heat, and hence the hundreds, thousands of people or thousands walking at ground level easily disprove the imaginary nuke nonsense. And many cars were toasted before the towers fell, hence why well before the non-existent mini nukes went off. Out of all the 9/11 disinfo, the mini nukes has to be the stupidest. Literally, he's saying that this thing right here, this giant underground nuke. And then underground, and then there's 1400 degrees at ground level there, and then everything's radiating outwards and turning everything to dust in like super hot vaporizing. The inside's vaporized, but then the 16 survivors are literally like right here, or on this building's on that fake nuke, and then he's also drawing some magnets for some reason. He's saying this is all occurring if the survivors are fine, and then there's people walking. Hundreds of thousands of people walking, literally just chilling, like nothing happened. So it's like, all right, like that's it. And also he was also saying that toasted cars were from the radiation. I'm like, cars were toasted before some cars were toasted before the towers fell.
I'd say a good 10 city blocks, New York City blocks from that North Tower. There's a parking lot, which I'm right over. There are cars on fire that evidently got hit by debris, and these cars are just burning untended to the ground. There's one completely engulfed in flames, and mind you, this is quite a distance from this first building, and those fires began right after the first explosion, and then just got exacerbated by this second one a few minutes later.
Yeah. So think about that. The first impact, cars were on fire, and then the second impact, the same cars get more on fire, but it's like, but they're literally like hundreds of feet away, and on opposite directions of the explosions. So it's like you can't even say that debris went and hit it, because I'm like, it just got worse after the explosion on the other side. So it's like, what's going on here? This one is as irrefutable as it gets that magic occurred. And anyways, okay guys, I do want to, I set my tripod. I don't know if I can get the tripod, but I want to go through this quickly. Actually, before we get to that, I want to do some math, because here it is in this show, we try to answer questions and so on. Again, we have 18 minutes left. It's an emergency stream. We try to get everything in. Self-sabotage 9/11 by CIA on home ground. Anyways, Donald Duck, just you're like the lovable disinfo bot that just says random nonsense. All right, this person said something here. Something about why. Someone said why it is. No, I was trying to quickly see. Someone said something. Okay, I can't find it. It's all right. Okay, someone did say something. Okay, that's all for that one. Yeah, I can't find it. Anyways. Okay, so I'm gonna continue on our journey. Yeah, so this is American Moon one, and this one we'll see if we can do some tests with dust on the vacuum chamber.
All know there is no atmosphere on the moon, which means the astronauts should be moving in a situation of absolute vacuum. There are different elements, however, suggesting that we are in the presence of air instead. One such element is the behavior of the clouds of dust behind the wheels of the rover. If we were in the absence of air, all the sand lifted by the wheels should follow a perfect parabolic.
No, this is fake. It shouldn't happen. You're gonna have stuff hitting it up and down. You're gonna have smaller parts hitting going higher. Some other ones, all the slower motion ones. This is just bogus fake stuff.
Trajectory from the moment it leaves the wheel until the moment it falls to the ground. Being that there is no air to slow them down in their path, both the heavier particles of sand and the lighter ones should follow the same parabolic trajectory.
No, it's different speeds. They have grooves on the thing, and also if you look at the tires, I mean behind the wheels, they also have the bumpers. They also have the bumpers right here. There's also bumpers right here. There's bumpers, so it's like literally hitting it. So like I don't understand like who's making these like just clown show videos against moon landing. I'm like 246,000 subscribers. Holy.
Behind the wheels of the rover. If we were in the absence of air, all the sand lift should fall down, being that and the lift instead particle seconds in midair, forming the typical clouds of dust that can be seen behind the car wheels.
And it's look how far this one is. The other one's like instantly falls down.
This phenomenon can be observed in many different situations. Simply kicking up some sand, during a golf game, or during a motocross race. But it is a phenomenon that can also be observed behind the wheels of the lunar rover, where instead it should not happen. For example, look at these clouds of dust that remain momentarily suspended in midair behind the rover's wheels. As we have said before, without an atmosphere, no cloud should be forming at all. All the sand particles, both the heavier and the lighter ones, should follow.
And also, it's not going to go backwards in a parabolic arc. The reason is because the particles are moving forward. Actually, I'm trying to think how that's. There should be some forward momentum as it's going forward. No. There should be some kicked off like that. Never mind. But
no cloud should be forming a cloud.
But they're not all going to go the same speeds, and also there's a bumper, and that's I don't see anything wrong with this
particles,
footage.
Both the heavier and the lighter ones should follow the same parabolic arch. This is also
Jason Trussell, the Tosa cars, the Embassy Suite hotel were 550 feet away from the WTC North Tower. Epic.
Hold small particles suspended against gravity for a short time. None of that would happen on the moon because there's nothing to keep the dust particles suspended. And yet, small clouds of dust form repeatedly behind the rover's wheels and briefly remain suspended in midair before falling to the ground. All of this should not happen if we were actually on the moon, where no atmosphere is present.
Yeah, again, I don't see an issue with this. This is just. I think it's just small particles just going and falling. I literally don't have a clue why they're even making a video on it. Anyways, so the dust kicking out doesn't seem anything special. The mainstream debunk seems more plausible. Here's a mainstream debunk, which also has a paper on it. And
conspiracy theorists have come up with some pretty interesting.
They also calculated the gravity, and it was like pretty much the same as moon's gravity. Anyways.
And creative explanations as to why we didn't land on the moon. They point to things like the lack of stars in Apollo images and the fact that footage shows flags waving on the moon where there's no atmosphere and shouldn't be any wind. All of these claims are easy to disprove, and there's some evidence that we landed on the moon that you can't disprove. Evidence like the way the dust flies in the wake of the lunar rovers. Footage from Apollo 16's so-called Lunar Rover Grand Prix shows astronauts John Young and Charlie Duke roving around the moon in the second lunar rover to reach the surface. Some of the footage gives us a view of the dust kicked up by the rover's wheel, and the dust follows a trajectory it just couldn't follow if this Lunar Rover Grand Prix had been filmed on a soundstage on Earth. If you look at the way the dust is kicked up in the wake of the lunar rover's wheels, it forms a very distinctive rooster tail. It doesn't just fall in a parabolic arc like it would on Earth. The rooster tail is a product of the lunar environment. the low gravity environment and the lack of appreciable atmosphere. There's nothing to drag the dust particles down. They're able to fly further from the rover's wheels after being kicked up in the air, and they follow a spinning trajectory thanks to the wheel's movements. We just wouldn't see this on Earth. The atmosphere causes enough friction with dust particles that anything kicked up behind a vehicle would just fall straight back down again. This is actually a really interesting way to prove that we did land on the moon, and possibly one of the hardest ones to disprove. This study was done by 2 scientists at the Laboratory for Atmospheric and Space Physics at the University of Colorado in Boulder. They turned the trajectory of the dust that they saw in the Lunar Rover Grand Prix footage into a mathematical formula, and when they replaced the lunar values for earthly values, what they saw was that the footage could not have possibly been filmed on Earth. The dust just wouldn't act the same way. According to the math, dust on the Earth cannot fly like it does in the lunar rover footage.
Okay, and then 29,000 tons. If the rover was running on an off-road environment on Earth, it would be like a sandstorm behind it. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to find any sort of smoking gun. I just can't find anything. Of appreciable atmosphere is a more accurate term than no atmosphere, and in that phrasing is where I believe the dissolution is spin. No atmosphere. So here, this guy says, but it still looks like it would on Earth, not on space. I don't know. I need to see a comparison, like an actual proper. Like this does not look like this. Like I'm like this don't really look alike. Like, I don't see anything. Remember that sand was a bit damp too, so they can achieve an effect. So they dampened the. That's why the foot pads bars maintain its shape when solid. No, you could do that in a vacuum too, when moved. So it's like here, vacuum, dust, moon. This one here, what does he use for? You could do imprint in a vacuum. You can make an imprint.
Okay, everyone. Today we're going to be seeing if you can actually make dust fly up on the moon. So one conspiracy theory that I've heard a lot from the moon, and I've got a lot of requests to try to debunk this theory, is that when the astronauts are walking in the moon, you can see that they kick up a lot of dust. So people say, well, if there's no air on the moon, how is the dust flying around?
Okay. Yep. Remind me to dust my camera too, will you? Don't forget to dust your camera. We'll keep track of that for you, see.
If there's no moisture in the air to lock the particles together. So I want to try to replicate that.
Go back here.
And the second one is, can you make a footprint in a vacuum if there's no moisture in the air to lock the particles together? So I want to try to replicate that experiment with my vacuum chamber here and some fumed silica. So fumed silica is about the same size as moon dust. Moon dust can be very fine. It's on average around 0.1 microns in diameter, whereas this fumed silica is around 0.05 microns in diameter. So this is a little finer than moon dust, but it should work well for our experiment. So how I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to be using a shoe to drop on the dust in the vacuum chamber. And I have a magnet in it. I can drop it in the vacuum chamber. And we'll see if it can actually kick up dust.
Yeah,
and as you can see, this is not.
So this guy's already done it, but I was gonna do something like this. I was just gonna shake the vacuum chamber with like some cornstarch, but this is gonna do it. Let's see.
Not my shoe. This is my daughter's shoe, so she gets to go to the moon. Okay, so first let's put in our fumed silica, and this stuff is extremely fine. I don't want to breathe it, so let me put on a mask. Ooh.
Just gonna mute. I don't want to copyright strike. Okay, so he puts that in. And oven mitts protect me from the pinches with the strong magnets. Okay. Also, he has it in there. Okay, and then when does he remove? Okay, so it's pretty much vacuum there.
But I'm going to let it vacuum out for around 10 or 20 minutes to get all the air out that we can that's in here. Okay, I've let this sit at a full vacuum now. Okay, let's drop the shoe.
Okay, let's see, the gauge wasn't zeroed. That's why it shows below 30. Okay, so it's not zeroed. Yeah, I don't know how to zero mine. Mine's it doesn't even work.
Okay, let's drop the shoe. 3, 2, 1. Wow, that really shot up.
All right.
So one thing you'll notice too is look how you can see imprints in there. So there's absolutely no water vapor in here, but the particles can stick together. But you can see in this completely dry environment here, you can make footprints. This is just dropping the pure magnet now. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now let's see what happens when we let the air back in. Whoa. Probably just sandblasted my vacuum chamber.
All right, yeah, so that does that. Let's see. Look at Neil Armstrong's suit in the NASA museum. He has smooth, flat soles and ridges. Yeah, it's like there's always something. It's like, how do we just stick to it? Can you at least admit that the footprints can be made? It's like everything is just another twist. Like, just give me the actual thing. Okay, so anyways, I'll send this guy's video, and I'll ask but then install. So it's like there's always something. There's always some sort of got you that keeps changing. I'm like, just stick to the one thing. Footprints can be made. Okay, I'll send this one here. Moisture can only be carried in an environment. You don't need any moisture. You can just compact things. Like, I don't get it. I know why is everyone making impossible science claims? See here. Let's go to the Grok. See what Grok says on here. This person says moon landing footprint shouldn't have soles. The boots worn by Armstrong during Apollo 11 had silicone soles with ridges for traction in the lunar surface. The footprints left them like the famous one. The suit is a training suit or display replica, not the actual lunar boots. The flown boots were left on the moon to save weight for the return trip. Training suit often had flat soles for different designs, which could explain the smooth soles seen in that. Can see show footprints. Yes, photos from the lunar surface, including that, show this one. So they didn't actually use that. So they actually preserved. So the actual shoes are left inside the at the moon then. So it's like, I don't get it. They used outer boots over the flat sole boots when they went outside. Yeah, so it's like I don't get it. It's like the mainstream reasoning is more believable than the conspiracy reasoning. I'm like, just what's the actual, like, someone help me out. It's like, if you can't pass the Grok AI test or in Leo AI, then it's like, I don't get it. Okay, this one here. Okay, he tagged me in it. Mysterious 18th century ship discovered buried under the World Trade Center. No way. Okay, there's some discoveries right here.
So we stopped the backhoe and started excavating with shovels and uncovered a portion of this hull, and since then have uncovered the rest that you see.
And what we can see is believed to be half of a ship. Marine historian Norman Brower was brought in to take a look.
It appears to be an ocean-going vessel, probably sometime in the 1700s. It's heavily built, very solid frames close together.
One mystery, this circular structure that Brower says may have been used as a fireplace. An anchor was also recovered.
How significant is this find? I mean, I think it remains to be seen, you know, what this ship really is, but it's pretty significant. I think it's pretty exciting. There haven't been that many ships found in Manhattan. You know,
this is a. I'm gonna go right here. Is it at? I'm gonna see what the actual map location is. This is actually a great finding. Be like, yeah, that's very very fascinating. Okay, and wooden ship. It's gonna go to Wiki. I like Wiki just is standardized. They put the photo of it. There's no random talk. Wooden ship. ship wooden. Okay, in July 2010, a team of archaeologists at the site discovered the remains of a 32-foot, 9.8 meter long boat over 200 years old. It was probably made in the 18th century, dumped there along with the wooden beams and trash. In about 1810, to make up the land, the boat had been weighted to make it sink as part of foundations for a new pier. Interesting. Okay, so they actually used it as foundations for a pier. So they actually used it as they recycled it for construction. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I know it's fake as Buzz Aldrin's mom's maiden name was Moon. Yeah, it's like again Freemasonic stuff. They probably faked it up. Space Ghost. It's like you have to say the footage is fake. You'll need to somehow actually debunk hundreds and thousands of hours of everything, audio, video, and like have an actual reason for all that. There are only 2 people in the world that went to the moon, and one of them had a mom whose last name was Moon. I'm not buying it. Oh, well, the thing is, they're also Freemasons. Like, but the thing is, it's a psyop. It's like USA was founded by Freemasons. Okay, but USA still happened. So it's like the conspiracies of the ones that say the footage is fake. Like those are the ones I think the ones that's like the ones I for anything, for 9/11, for all even JFK or anything saying the video. Actually, JFK just is only a few footage. The more videos and evidence there are, the less, well, the harder and harder it is to fake something. In terms of the fakery, like the actual footage. Like 9/11 is just like no one just like even looks at the evidence. No one looks at any of the evidence. For example, I'll go to album. I'll say or photo. Volume. Yeah, for example, on 9/11, there's like every single photo all lines up, and there's so much, but they all show the exact same thing. The towers literally turn to dust. They all show every single one. The moon landing, it's similar in that there's so much footage that they're actually videotaping something and talking about going somewhere. How they did it, what they actually did, it could be up for debate, but they're actually on the moon or somewhere on a rock far away that spends trillions of dollars. And also, again, a lot of people say, hey, how come we're not on the moon right now? Well, first of all, how come the U.S. spends $1 trillion on the military? And Trump's bragging about it, even though he said he was going to cut military spending by half, apparently. So Trump announced a record-breaking $1 trillion Pentagon budget. Nobody's seen anything like it. We have to build our military. This snake proposed slashing U.S. military expenditure by 50% and does this instead. And also, here's even according to mainstream, what would it cost to defeat the entire world? $40 billion per year to end world hunger by 2030. $40 billion by UN mainstream standards, and we got $1 trillion in military. So in other words, poverty is by design. And then going further, chickens. So it's like when people say, hey, how come they're not putting bases on the moon, not doing this? Well, they're busy instead killing 100 million chickens because of, quote, bird flu. In other words, they're busy starving. Like, I don't understand why people ask these questions. Yeah, I've heard corn as male name, but I didn't know of any female name called Moon. Interesting, yeah. So it's like, obviously they're side, but also they're all Freemasons on the moon. It's like Freemasons on the moon. Freemasons on the moon. It's like, it's all just Freemasonry. They probably picked the guy with the name Moon, or faked it just to be the one to go on the moon. Let's say, do you know there's a Freemasonic lodge on the moon? No way. All things Freemasonic lodge. One of those brave was okay, and then brother Buzz Aldrin was authorized by the Grand Master of Texas to claim Masonic territorial jurisdiction for the Grand Lodge of Texas on the moon. So they literally got a lodge on the moon. Okay, let's go. You can't get to the moon. It's not a thing you can fly to a ship, in my opinion. It's just my gut feeling. Yeah, it's your gut feeling, yeah, but it's like put some evidence. I don't care what you're feeling. Like, I really don't. It's like everything's a psyop, like in some way or fashion, and mainly because they cover up 9/11. But it's like you have to realize it. I'm a math channel. You gotta get it right. If so, you could believe it's fake and so on, but no one's gonna believe you. Like the mainstream's not gonna believe you. In other words, nothing's gonna change.
And brief.
And this guy here is if you see like the amount of just everything is just easily debunkable stuff. The fact NASA destroyed all Apollo documents is criminal on its own. Where was the crater under the lander? There's the crater. There shouldn't be a crater anyways. Why didn't they take a photo on the Earth from the moon? The fuel load needed. The crater one. There's a good Keegan one. Dave Keegan. McKeegan crater. It's like what I'm trying to say is. I hear you, bro. You're right. Yeah. So it's like the normies will not believe us if you're. It doesn't matter if your gut feeling's telling you one way or not. Nothing's gonna change. We're still gonna be enslaved and so on. But what I'm trying to do is be a bridge on the conspiracy side, which knows that there's the world conspiracy, but the details are a lot of people ignore it. And for example, 9/11. 9/11. Everyone knows, and the conspiracy side, 9/11 is a quote inside job. But very few know it's literally directed energy weapons and so on. But it fits all the data, all the evidence, and that's the way you convince normal people. Normal people will not buy into the explosives, thermite, nukes, CGI nonsense, and then instead they'd rather just believe what the easy one, which is the mainstream narrative, because you'll see on the news, oh, another terrorist attack and so on. And there's the crater one here. I think this one he talks about the crater. There shouldn't even be a crater. It's a very low. Crater moon. Why is there no dust on the lunar module? I think that he had one on the crater one. But anyways, the crater shouldn't be that much because it's low gravity, and the actual thing weighs very little. And yeah, you're not gonna get a crater. It's like there's no crater when there's a helicopter going down. There shouldn't be a crater for that. And the helicopter actually uses more thrust. Okay, anyways. I think that's 2 hours, guys. I do want to do a vacuum, but the guy already did a vacuum one, and the footage destroyed. I have heard something like that, but again, it's like they do what they do. But I need something, and I'll go to the message. He said something here. Okay, everything's wrong. Structural isolation. This was the engine noise and so on, but again, it's like all these little tiny things. The big one is like you need. I think the most convincing would be to show that every single walking on the moon had string on it. Like the guy was pulled by wires. A convincing one would to show all 100-hour footage has a string in it. That's convincing. But the thing is, you're not going to be able to do that because there's no string. So they used UFO tech on the lunar module to be able to go there, or just went by an actual flying saucer. What I'm trying to say is, if there's no issue with the moon. It's not, I mean, the moon's not a hologram. If the space not a holographic mumbo jumbo or some sort of weird barrier. Or Satan says you can't go past, or they got the ruler of this world. They got the Lucifer, who says you gotta kill a sacrifice before you go to the moon. But yeah, so if there's no issues with that, they can obviously go there with UFO tech. Because I'm assuming that's real because of 9/11. So basically, again, what I think it is, I agree with those last two named. Also interesting. So they could have used UFO attack, is what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to find is there any even... I haven't found any solid evidence against just the mainstream narrative where they just spent $500 billion. So just to illustrate this, $500 billion. How much... Okay, this is another Grok one. I'll do Grok here. How much did Apollo moon missions cost in terms of 2025 dollars? Okay, let's see. How much did it cost? Let's see what it would say. And again, if you boil it down, they literally just went to some rock far away with some ancient technology, which is like just some firecracker technology. Holy. Okay, this is not answering it. We can go right here. That's Leo. Okay, so now we got Grok's not working. Okay, I'll ask it again. Okay, 25. Yeah, so about 320 to 400. Yeah, to 340 billion dollars. Okay. So it's like, and then the cost of the ending world hunger is like 40 billion current dollars. So that's like even way less back then. Yeah. So in other words, again, it's just the typical poverty mumbo jumbo. Similar with Cold War. How much did Cold War cost in $25. So let's see how much. A lot of these Cold War moon landing, it's another Cold War, just taking all the spending and so on. 8.8 to 9 trillion dollars. My goodness. Oh my goodness, my goodness. These are absolute psychos. That was just that's U.S. military spending. And then let's see the total. And then see the total. The Cold War cost the U.S. approximately 16 to 20 trillion, and then including allies, 30 to 40 trillion. So if you wonder why we don't have nice things, why I don't have bases on the moon, like, what do you want from me? Like, these people want you dead, and you're asking me, how come they're not giving us, like, a trip to the moon? But I believe the Artemis missions, I'm going to ask this right here. When is the Artemis missions likely to be made? And what timetable for commercial flights to the moon? I actually believe there's going to be commercial flights to the moon. And then, so this entire moon, fake moon landing and whatever, and flat Earth, and it's like all just going to be completely and utterly humiliated once, if there's ever these commercial flights. And then anything related to conspiracy will be used as a, hey, it's like conspiracy theorists thought you couldn't go to the moon. Now we're on the moon. Okay, set no earlier than December 2028. Okay, so they're pushing it to 2028. Commercial flights. NASA CLLPS missions, scientific payloads to the rovers to the moon, supporting Artemis. Launch this one, but failed to due to this one. So give me a timetable. Artemis cost 93 billion. March 2030. Okay, where's commercial ones? Multiple landings, 2025. Firefly and Intuitive Machines, Astrobotica. So not just NASA. Late 2020s. Okay, so we're going to get some commercial ones. What about commercial? People travel. If a Secret Service, which is protected service, also kills its own president, all is possible after CIA is run as the same organization. Yeah, or the JFK one. I think it might have also been another Freemasonic fakery. So like that's an actual fake one. The moon landing, there's just too much documentation, and it's also too much on the mainstream pushing it as if it's like the first thing when people think conspiracy, they think flat Earth, and they think moon landing is fake, by Stanley Kubrick. Okay, so give me some numbers, man. Commercial human travel to the moon is likely late 2020s or early 2030s for circumlunar flights. SpaceX Dear Moon, 2028 to 2030, and in 2030 2035. So again, this one right here, I think this will answer all the questions. But at the same time, there's going to be a whole slew of other conspiracy theories or whatever. Anyways, but I do think they're eventually going to have some sort of moon base and so on. Anyways, that's all for today, guys, and hopefully you enjoyed. It's over the time limit, and yeah, that's all for today. I'm going to close some stuff. All right, and anyways, again, for those anti-mooner people, yeah, everyone has a gut feeling everything's fake, but the thing is, provide something that's irrefutable and not just another little here and there nugget of info, just an actual thing. Test it out, put it in a vacuum chamber, do some actual, make it as, don't just make, especially when people do some experiments, don't just make it even like just close to the moon landing. Try to make it like 10 times more extreme, and then see if something happens. For example, if other people saying that the vacuum chamber, a vacuum, like gelatin, the camera film had gelatin, so it would degas on the moon. So I'll be like, all right, why don't you get an actual giant block of gelatin and put that in a vacuum chamber, see what happens. And that's what I might actually do. Anyways, that's all for today, guys. Anyways, thanks for watching. Linear thrust details, performance thrust, 47 kilonewtons, thwartable between 10. Anyways, yeah, I know, but there's a video there, McKeegan. Just watch his entire moon landing stuff here. Crater, I'll send this link to you. So what I'm trying to say is, like, you need to at least first bypass the mainstream debunkers before you ask me, because the mainstream debunkers are pretty much fine. Like on the moon landing and stuff. I can go over the mainstream debunkers on 9/11 are absolute like nonsense. But the thing is, they're only catered to explosives, so it's like they know what they're doing. these ones are catered to video fakery. But the other one, even if the thrust one isn't an issue. Excellent thread today. Yeah. Landing. Let's go to crater helicopter. The reason he says helicopter, he says helicopter and moon. Why is there no dust? Yeah, he talks about this. Yeah, this one he talks about the crater size as well. Yeah, and it tells you about the thrust applications of it, and it's like literally tiny. Basically the moon's gravity is tiny, and calculated exhaust pressure is less than 1 psi. And apparently the calculator is very, very small, and so on. So again, what I'm trying to say is you need to explain this guy's mumbo jumbo. I mean, where's the crater? Yeah, this one right here, crater, and so on, and the legs. Yeah, this is the one. Anyways, basically what I'm trying to say is go and debunk this guy first, find what's wrong with his, and so on. I'm going to do a quick summarize. Okay, guys, that's all for today. And I'm ending the stream. I'm going to click Threadcast, stop it. Okay. Ending stream, guys. Ending stream in 3, 2, 1. Have a good day, guys. I'll just say it right here. Have a good day. Have a good day. And thanks for joining. I'm going to go for a run. Alright, and then I'll send it to the run right here. Alright, end stream 3, 2, 1, end stream.